Will Rangers have superpowers when they come back from this break? Will Tav be able to run through walls? And will we ever sign a player? There's some key questions we're going to talk about on this video. You know what? I must have heard this about running through walls from a lot of players. And you know what? You hear it in the NFL, you hear it in the NHL, you hear it in the EPL, you hear it in the SPFL, you hear it in any sort of anagram. So there we go. We will talk a little bit about what Tav has had to say as well. And it wasn't the usual. We'll learn from this. We'll try harder next time. We're disappointed, obviously, blah, blah, blah. The usual Tav shit that he comes out with. We are going to talk as well about Cameron Pring, who is another left back that has been linked with a move to Rangers, slightly cheaper than David Jurasek, the Benfica guy who, like I said on the video this morning and on yesterday's videos, would very much be a loan with no option to buy, really, because I cannot see Rangers being able to fork out £8 million on a left back like Jurasek. So, look, let's say hello to the dog. There he is. Shadow, you're famous. Look, say hello. There you go, guys. The dog is even here to help us with the video today. So let's talk about Cameron Pring. So Cameron Pring is described as being one of the most promising left backs, stroke left side centre backs in the EFL Championship. He currently plays for Bristol City, the Robins in that league. Now, this year he has made a number of appearances. And let's have a look at his little cheat sheet here, his little factoid sheet. So his full name is Cameron Lewis Moya Pring. I mean, what a name. That's a serious name, that is. He's 25 years old. He is from Bristol. He is over 6 foot. And we know that obviously Phillipe Clement likes big defenders. He is a left back. He's left footed. He's under contract until 2026 with Bristol City. And as you can see from that graphic there, his primary position is left back, but he can also play centre-back, left side and right-sided centre-back. In terms of his record for Bristol City this season, he's made 26 appearances, scoring 1 goal with 2 assists, so 3 goal contributions in 26 games. Bristol City are a very average team in the English Championship. As you can see there as well, he's appeared in the majority of the starting 11s, played the majority of minutes, and has had a reasonably decent goal participation rate for a fullback. So a player that certainly, could be an option. He is a big guy. He is, like I said, over 6 foot. He can play left side centre back as well as left back. So certainly provides Rangers with a number of options there at the back. Now, look, we had the news yesterday, didn't we, that Ridvan Yilmaz is staying for at least for the time being because no suitable offer has come in for him as of yet. I don't rule out selling him if there was an offer to come in, in excess of 4 million, 4.5, 5 million. It may be that Rangers will go on to consider that. Galatasaray, Besiktas, Fenerbahce may come back with an offer. You never know with these Turkish clubs, how they love getting their Turkish players back to the homeland. Also, as well, with Borna Barisic out of contract, it does seem very much that this report that Rangers do want a left back is very much true. That we do want to bring in someone to that left back position. And I think, long term, we do need someone. Borna will, I think, leave at the end of the season. Well, hopefully will then leave at the end of the season, although there have been strong rumours about him getting a new 2-year contract, which in my opinion would be an absolute disaster for the club. Pring, I think, would be a really good option. I think, however, looking at the reports that are in the media yesterday and this morning as regards Cameron Pring and as it regards him going to Rangers, I think that will be put on hold for the moment, signings-wise. It was talk that this was one of the positions that was been targeted, that this was one of the positions that that was up there for grabs. Now, he's £2 million. And like I said, according to a lot of the reports and a lot of the media, we are interested in him, but like I said, I think given the news now that Ridvan is staying put, given the news that obviously Borna Barisic is still at the club as well, unfortunately, I do think that it will be held up any move for someone like Cameron Pring. I realistically cannot see Rangers spending money on a left back if we don't need to at this point. We don't really need 3 left backs on the squad. I think if Barisic was to move on in January, or Ridvan, if that that still could be the option. Pring is 25 years old. He's sort of really made that left back place his own over the last 18 months at Bristol City. He's got at 25. He's still got the best years ahead of him. He has got 2.5 years left on his deal at Bristol. But he's a player that at 25, give it another couple of years, he could still fit into that player trading model. If he comes in, impresses, does well, it could be a situation where, in a year, 2 years time, we can flip him for a considerable amount more money. Now, like I said, the current transfer market value is between £2 to £2.5 million for this player. Last season he made 37 appearances with 1 goal and 6 assists. The season before that, he made 34 appearances with no goals and a single assist. In his entire time with Bristol City, he's made 98 appearances, 2 goals, 9 assists. That's 11 goal participations in those games. He is very, very, very much highly regarded at Bristol City, and Bristol City's current manager, Liam Manning, has said it would be a huge blow if they were to lose Pring, as Manning is still targeting Bristol City at the top 6 this season. So an interesting link there to a player who is still considered as an up-and-coming player at 25, has good years in front of him, could be an option. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now let's move on to a fullback who is at our club, a man who, let's say, fair to say, divides fan opinion. There are those that just think the sun shines out of Tav's ass and he is the greatest thing since sliced bread. There are others that can take him or leave him, and there are those that cannot stand Tav, or in the for fuck's sake Tav category. But look, I've got no doubt in my mind that Tav is very good going forward. His attacking abilities are there for all to see. His assist numbers are fantastic, over 112 assists for the club, over 115 goals for the club, which are phenomenal numbers for a right back. Yes, I know a lot of those goals have come from set pieces, from free kicks, the odd free kick, and obviously penalties as well. But he does score goals that are not those, like the goal he got in the cup final. Obviously, where the majority of criticism comes for Tav is, number one, around his defensive abilities. A lot of people think that, he is not a good defender, that he struggles going backwards, and that he leaves big gaps that teams exploit by putting the ball over the top of him. There is, of course, the argument as well that he's not a great captain. He talks about leading by example. He talks about, that's his role, that it's changed, how he plays on the field, which, is disputable. It's arguable. Some fans would say that he does it very well with his goals, his assists. Other fans would say he doesn't do it very well, that he looks to blame others, that, there's two sides to every argument. I'm trying not to, obviously, cause a huge controversy, because whenever I seem to talk about Tav, it seems to inflame one side or the other, and I seem to get dog's abuse from one side. So, look, that's where we're up to. Now, Tav has talked very much about the fact that this current squad are very much behind the manager. And Phillipe Clement has also been talking about the fact that, how this training camp will affect the team. And we'll talk about that shortly. But Tav's talked about the fact that, in his opinion, this squad are ready to run through walls for Phillipe Clement, that they are fully behind the manager. They are fully dedicated to the manager. And look, fair enough. Great to hear. Fantastic to hear. But personally think, look, perhaps I'm old-fashioned, perhaps I'm speaking out of turn here, but for me, players should want to do that anyway, no matter who the manager is. That shirt there, when you pull that shirt on there, you should want to run through walls, run through burning buildings, run through fire, run over glass, run over anything for that shirt. You should want to die for that shirt. You should want to, you should show so much passion, battle, and fight for that shirt. It shouldn't be just because we've got this manager, we should be running through walls for him. It should be, no matter who is in charge of the club, you run through walls for that shirt because you owe the fans. You owe that badge. That badge means something. It does mean a hell of a lot to people like you and me who, pay our money. We spend a fortune on merchandise. We spend a fortune on tickets. Those of you who follow the team away spend a fortune on going away with them. On accommodation, on food. We spend thousands of pounds following this team all over. So for me, yes, it's great to hear Tav doing that. And I'm not condemning him or calling him out for it or saying that it's ridiculous that he said it. It's great that he said it. It's phenomenal, brilliant. What I am saying is we should want to do that anyway. No matter who the manager is, you should run through walls for them, because that shirt matters. That shirt is important. That shirt, you should bleed for that shirt. Phillipe Clement talked as well about the fact that he has worked the players exceptionally hard over these 5 days they've spent in Manga. He did talk about that before the team flew out from Glasgow last week, and I think there was an element of fatigue in that display on Saturday. There was a kind of tiredness to the performance, and I think we all saw that. But I think what's great for me is the fact that he's talking about how that work that he's done in terms of developing that fitness, developing that robustness, developing that mentality will go on and hopefully stand this team in great stead going forward for the rest of the season. Now, we obviously are looking forward to hopefully a new striker arriving, because at the moment we haven't got an out-and-out 9 at the club. Please don't say it's Cyril Dessers, because the guy is just absolute toilet. But we do need to have a striker. But I think, you know, what Clement has done with this squad whilst away in La Manga will stand this squad in good stead. I think there's a lot of fitness work, a lot of developmental work gone into it. Scott Wright also spoke as well about how the manager had sat every single player down, had a one-to-one with every single player. Now, as one of his former assistants at Bruges said on an interview that he gave, you know, Phillipe Clement is very much around man management, about, you know, motivating the players, about speaking individually, about getting the very best out of them. And we're starting to see that develop a little bit more. Now he's had time to talk to the players, and having those one-to-one sessions, having those training sessions, having time away from the glare of the media, having time away from having to prepare for games. And hopefully that will stand us in good stead. And he's talked about Rangers having a extra superpower going into the rest of the season. I certainly hope that we have that. And look, there is no need, guys, to be wearing the pants on the outside of your shorts. And please don't start wearing capes, because it just gives the hammer throwers something else to drag you down by. Well, guys, let me know what you think of that transfer story, of what Tav has had to say, and of what our manager has had to say as well. Obviously, here on Glasgow's Rangers Nation, we will keep all over any other stories that come out and bring you all the very latest. If you want to help out the channel, that would be phenomenal. You can smash the super thanks and donate a little bit of cash. You can join the channel. Most of all, more important than anything for me, you can sub to the channel. That helps our channel to keep on growing and increases the exposure of the channel. Thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, guys, I always ask you two favors on the way out. Number one, smash the like. It helps the video to grow. It's something to do with the algorithm. Don't know what it is, but apparently it helps. And the second thing I always ask from you is always remember, please never forget, we are the people.